You know what though? If I did teach, actually, I know you guys didn't know this because I don't talk about my past a lot, but I was a lead electronics instructor. I started off as a basic electronics instructor it was like a career school. It's called Tidewater Tech, and I got promoted pretty quickly to the lead instructor of the department. And I wasn't hard on people because you have to remember my crowd there. I'm going to keep this incredibly short, under a minute. Was typically high school dropouts and ex-cons. Yeah, those are the people that show up at the career school. So you have to figure, at one time in their life, they decided they didn't care enough to follow norms. And I mean big norms, like not committing a felony, that kind of norm. They decided they didn't care. So how the hell am I going to get them to care about Ohm's law? Well, the first thing you do is don't be too hard on them, because they're just going to quit if you are. And I used to let them call me at any time of the night if they had trouble with their homework. And there was a couple of guys that always did. Always. I had this 45-year-old black dude, I think he was 45, 40 or 45. I think his name was Harold. And he would call. I don't understand the AC part. Tell me about the alternating current. I need to know about that. And we'd go through it, and he wasn't getting it, you know. He would get most of the stuff, but some of the stuff he just couldn't grasp. And he got through with like an 80 average, but it took a lot of hand-holding. And I just remember thinking, after he left my part of the school, we taught in blocks, that he would have never made it with another instructor. No way. So yeah, I'll pat myself on the back a little. I'm not going to chase you off, RD. I'm not going to give you an F for showing up late. However, taking your dick out in class and slapping a woman in her face with it and saying, "Do you speak German?" Those things together cannot work. You can do several of them separately, but once you put them together, you get the F. You're out. What does that say? That is how Kevin is able to talk to all of us at Spreaker. What are you talking about? That's because Barco is rich as hell. Yeah, Barco hooked me up, guys. He sent me, I have right here, right now, it's not super expensive stuff, but it's not medium line. It's like up there. Multimix 8, USB mixer, which I don't know how to use yet. Barely got the shit hooked up and working. And this condenser microphone. I can't read it because I'm getting old. But it's, I don't know, it's about a $140 mic. When you use it correctly, you sound really good. I don't know how to use it correctly. So, and I'm not used to something that looks like a dick pointing in my face. I don't like that. I do miss the USB mic for that reason, because that was more like a dick coming from the top of my head down. I never had to look at it. Now I've got, there it is. Whoop, there it is. So I keep my distance from the microphone, because I don't want that dick to think I'm like trying to get close to it. That's not going to work for me. Mandy, tell me something. Can a woman really enjoy sucking a dick? Or do they pretend to do that when there's some other motivation? Because the way I look at it is, for a woman, it probably is a lot like licking your arm. I mean, with salty skin taste, I assume. Or maybe something worse, I guess, if the guy's not clean. But I can't imagine a woman saying, "This is enjoyable to me." Maybe you can explain it to me. I noticed you were very comfortable talking with this stuff in one of the shows in the chat, so I'm bringing it up now. Hope I haven't caught you on the wrong day, and then you fucking jump out at me. Ask my boyfriend? Okay, I will. So, RD, tell me, what is sucking a dick like? I mean, I got to hear from you, man. No, I can use this. I'm using the stuff. I just have to learn it, and I don't have time right now. Let's get back to the radio host. Andrew says, money didn't mean shit, is what I'm saying. I'm happy because I have it. Fuck no. Okay, I missed something he must have said earlier. Got money on myself, but paper don't mean shit. No, gold is what you want. Gold is what you want. When the world comes crashing down, have yourself some gold or you aren't going to eat. Unless you have a farm. Even then, you're going to have to shoot people for stealing your shit. It's going to be a dog-eat-dog world in the worst possible way when economies start collapsing around the world. And I'm not trying to scare you. Who knows when that's going to happen? Maybe it's 500 years off, but eventually there's going to be something massive. It could be a secondary or tertiary event, like say a meteorite hits in China And at first, that only kills 50,000 people, only, I say, but still. Well, then it starts to interrupt supply lines and production, and then you have the dollar starts getting funky and doing a little jelly dance, and people panic and yank their money out of they make bank runs and stock market runs. Next thing you know, a year after this meteorite hit, this was relatively harmless. You don't have anything to eat. And the world population is getting so high now that fear is real. But I'll tell you what you're going to see before that, as one of the secondary or tertiary events, is going to be climate refugees leaving the lowland areas. Watch that. Put that on your to-watch list. Trust me on that. Because you're going to start finding your city or county's population rise and rise, unless you're on the coast. Hi, Stabby. Good Stabby, bad Stabby, happy Stabby, fappy Stabby. In the his house on Tadizze. What is Guy Shea doing? And I thought he had a hotel business to tend to. I don't have any cocaine, and it is for that reason that I'm not going to do a long show. Yeah, I can't stay. I'm not taking one of those pills. Jesus Christ. I don't even want to talk about that. Psychology. So we're talking about the psychology of radio hosts, but we're talking, instead of getting too specific about the thinking model of a radio host, we're talking about what it is about the production that draws people in. And from that, you can deduce what types of characteristics a host must have, or at least employ, if he's acting in a role. So, why is it entertaining? Is the question that they asked. And crazy enough, the guy that wrote that answers his own question. Funny writers. He says, well, the fact is, I don't like it when people... Guy was talking on his show last night or the day before about people saying, wake up, America. You know what? Shut the fuck up. Everybody's awake. You're not some... What are you? You're outside the Matrix. You're living in the world where you have to go around in sewers and tunnels, and you have a plug in the back of your head. But I'm living in the world where the plug is hidden, and there's agents showing up once in a while, and I can still taste steak. Fuck you. You're not awake. You know what you know. Nobody's going, thank God I watched that show. I must have been asleep. I must have been a sheeple, because he enlightened me. Every fucking TV show host now thinks they're Siddhartha Gautama. They're bringing you into the light with the big belly? No, I don't fucking think so. Don't tell me to wake up, or I'll knock you out. And irony will be present, but you won't know, because you'll be unconscious. Next question. Why is this entertaining? Well, the fact is, many strong negative emotions are quite enjoyable, so long as one knows one is not in any personal danger. True. People pay good money to experience strong fear and anxiety in horror movies and on roller coasters, and as I mentioned the other night at the Roman Colosseum. Remember that? Yeah, that shit hasn't changed. Getting people riled up about political and moral issues is a time-honored way to provoke very powerful physical feelings, and many people enjoy those feelings. No shit, Sherlock. But still, I mean, you know, this is talking about radio hosts, so let's keep going. There's only one more paragraph. So is there any problem with talk radio as entertainment? The biggest problem I see, strangely enough, is a threat to our freedom of speech. Sure, talk radio hosts are free to shout their opinions, but does this really encourage freedom of thought and debate? It is more likely to encourage mutual hostility among our citizens. That's not the product I would choose to sell in pursuit of my fortune. I got to give the guy some credit, because I see what he's doing there, and he's right, but his article was as boring as my show is for the same reasons. We're not selling you anything. I don't know. You know, he's hoping that radio show hosts stop working on your emotion and start working on logic and reason. What a weird thing to hope for. Who is this? Who wrote this? Peter G. Stromberg, PhD. And wrote it in, I guess this was in Sex, Drugs, and Boredom. Yeah, so they replaced rock and roll with boredom. You see how he did that trick there? Yeah. Don't buy his book, because I get a feeling he's a douche, and my feelings are usually correct about authors. And it's called anthropologist and author of Caught in Play: how entertainment works on you. I think you knew this shit already, folks. I hate to look at something that looks like a good article and then look at it and go, oh, it wasn't so good. Journalism, community psychology, radio psychology, talk show host, assessment, counseling style. This has to be good. Now, I'm not even going to get into it because you got to download a PDF file, but I am going to share it in the chat. If you listen in later on to the show, you'll have to scroll through the chat to find it. Because, hey, a little bit of investigative work never hurt anybody. Except Mark Furman. But that was on him. That was on him. We're not going to be on much longer, folks. I don't have it. I didn't want to come on tonight. Absolutely didn't want to do this show. So we talked about psychology of radio show personalities. I shared an important document, I think, that basically is a case study. And I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Radio doctors, oh, that's got to be a good one. List of psychologists, doctor, radio host. Doctor, you see, this is all, you can't even Google anything anymore because they don't know what you mean. Social support and media. Now we're not going to get there. Let me tell you what's going on. I'm just going to tell you what I know. There are a lot of hosts out there who are selling you hate. They get you fired up about something, just like I said, and they get you hating something. And I've seen this take a major turn up in the past 15 years or so, before 9/11. It was about hating the opposing political party. It was about hating opposing colors, the other sex, anybody that might be LGBT. I hate all that. Because why? Because that's not you. Think about how selfish that view is. Well, I'm not black, so I don't understand them, and therefore I don't like them. I like what I know. I know white. And that goes for blacks, too. There's black racists. I heard there was a discussion going on in a Facebook group, and one of the black guys said, you can't be racist if you're black. And I said, I think I'm going to use Webster's definition here and tell you you're wrong. So look it up, because I'm not doing your research for you. I caught myself on Facebook for a couple of years, probably 2011, 2012, doing people's research for them. Half the shit I saw I had to go find on Snopes or find at the source or find some references just to say, please don't spread this dumb, false shit. Because that's what we're wasting probably half of our time on now as Americans, is trying to sift through what's real and what isn't. And that's different than going to your chosen venue and chosen show host to hear what you want to hear. It's a whole different thing. And I respect you if you recognize that's what you're doing. Anybody who listens to Alex Jones, for example, and takes him even halfway seriously, instead of looking at him the same way they might look at a Jon Stewart and say, I came to laugh at you, monkey boy, dance for me. All right, if you're taking him seriously, I can't help you. I can't help you. All I can say is read more. Seriously, and please go to good sources. That's all. Good luck with that. Because chances are, if you deeply believe in the kind of stuff he sells, you're a goner. And all I would ask you to do, if you don't want to go do a bunch of research, is ask yourself about motives. Compare what he says to what he's selling to what he's getting to how his show changes to how often he alarms you and then vacates what he alarmed you about in the following week's show. It's gone. They don't talk about it anymore. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. They didn't back up and take your guns. They didn't back the FEMA truck up and pack your family in. Everybody's still sitting tight. Everybody's still polishing their pistols. Everything seems pretty good. When are they coming? Next week, I guess. It's always next week. I don't know. Let's see what you guys are talking about in chat. I'll feed off of that. Thank you for telling me about NPR and BBC to get media clips from, because I would like to play some media clips and fuck with the news a little sometimes on my show, and that's part of the turn this show's going to take. This show is taking a turn. The definitive guide to podcast intros, I'll pass. Yeah, I didn't ask for it. Guy Shea already did my intro. What the fuck do I need? Yeah, I need to get some media clips in because I like to play the news, like at least from this week, if not today, and talk a little bit about it if it applies to anything that I'm interested in. And I don't know about you guys, but there are these days that go by where